So hello everyone. Today I'm discussing about a process state diagram in operating system. So in the process state diagram there are six stages: new, ready, running, waiting, and suspended. And whenever the process completes its execution, it will went to terminated state. Okay. So let's go each stage and see what the each stage is doing. Okay. So in the new state, the process is created and the process ID and the resources are allocated to process. Okay. So here the process ID and resources are allocated. And among the newly created process, the long-term scheduler will select a process and move it to memory, that is in ready queue, which is in ready stage. So in the ready queue, multiple process will waiting in the ready queue, and among the many processes which are waiting in the ready queue, the sorted out term scheduler will select one process for the CPU execution based on some CPU scheduling algorithm. We can discuss about CPU scheduling algorithm later on. So here in the shortest term scheduler, we select the process and the process is start executing. Okay, start executing, and in between the execution, if the process want to do some IO, so then it will be added to IO queue, or uh, doing the IO, because the IO devices are very slow. So here the process will be in the doing the IO. Whenever the IO will completed, the process will move to ready state again. Okay, so if the process is idle for a long time, means it is not doing IO, or maybe not doing any fun or not performing any functionality. So the middle term scheduler will swap that process to swap space in the hard disk. So here in the suspended state, the process will be in swap space, so that the released memory will be given to some other process to run the execution efficiently. Okay, and whenever there is space in the memory, I mean, so middle term scheduler will select that process from swap space to ready queue. So basically swap space is the space in the hard disk, which is basically used by operating system. So here the operating system will store the process related information. Okay, so after completing the execution, if the process did not want IO, it will went to terminated state. So here all resources of the process will be released. All resources of process will be released. Okay, so this is the process state diagram. So the frequency, if we talk about frequency of long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler, and middle-term scheduler, so the frequency is short-term scheduler frequency is more, because it will move the process from ready queue to running state to ready queue, right? And middle term scheduler will perform many time the idle process will swap that process to swap space. So the frequency of middle term scheduler will be then the long term scheduler, because long term scheduler will uh, work very less efficient. Long term scheduler have very less frequency, because it will only move the newly created process to the memory. Okay, so this is the frequency and between the schedulers. This is very important. We can discuss about these later on. Okay, thank you so much.